Let's get into some housekeeping. How are Claire and Dale doing?
I think they're doing great. I kind of watch through social media like everybody else, and as many times as I've seen her jump into his arms, that is a sign of the times. I think they're doing really well. But I think they're very much in love, and I wish him well, and hopefully everybody else does. I know everyone got a little up in arms about how it all went down, but the fact is they're engaged and they're in love. Why not give them a break?
I love the way it went down, right? Don't drag us through the process. We all saw it. Your prediction, though, Chris, do you think they'll go the distance?
Well, I mean, Kit, look, the deck is stacked against them. It's you and I are poster childs for things not going right. I mean, look, most relationships can be messy and whatever. So why not just bet for them instead of against them? It's easy to sit back and go, oh, they'll never make it. Well, most relationships don't make it. So let's just wish them well.
I like that. I do wish them well. Tayshia, stepping in, coming in strong. How would you rate her season? Give it a grade.
Just so different, right? I mean, you had Claire's season that was just so tumultuous and so wild. And then you had Tayshia kind of come in and then we were just kind of cruising at 30,000 feet. But then things have gotten so deep and so emotional. You had, Brendan and then Zach and then, Ben's conversation about mental health. And it was wild for us as producers, me as a host, to come in and be like, wow, okay, this is what I'm juggling right now. So it was just such a different version of a Bachelorette to go back to back like that.
You mentioned kind of going deeper this season with Tayshia. Quick question, is the limited alcohol affected how things are playing out? Because I forgot how many seasons ago that it seems to be not as much or there's a limit. Does that affect anything?
Not really. I mean, because honestly, even before there was the quote unquote limit, I mean, first of all, we've been doing this for years. We never really wanted that anyway. It really never helped us. I know people think, they always say, oh, the alcohol. Sloppy drunk is not good on TV. Sloppy drunk is stupid.
Well, opening day could be kind of fun. There's always one in the pool.
Well, it is interesting to see, okay, who handles that, who uses it as a crutch, and you can still do that. But, it definitely shines a light on somebody's personality. But for the most part, that doesn't equate to good TV in the long run.
Tayshia went on Ellen and talked about Zach being husband material. Are we going to be happy with the ending of Tayshia's season?
Tayshia's season, as you see, gets very emotional. And if you watch the clips, you see her crying in the white dress and all that. These guys have gone deep, but so has Tayshia. She has fallen in love. The big question is it going to end the way she wants it to? And you may have your answer in some of these clips that you're seeing.
Here's the other big question. My daughters and I make lists of people that we want in BIP, Bachelor in Paradise. When is it coming back? Have we started a list of who's going to get the nod to go?
Well, Casa de Bennett is already being built. Obviously, we're going to put Noah in the in a trailer house out back. But the funny thing is, Kid, honestly, we have this embarrassment of riches of seasons because Peter's season.
Yeah.
It did not have a Paradise. So we're going to have Peter's season and Matt James' season. We are going to have Claire and Tayshia's season. Then we're going to have another season of The Bachelorette. So we're going to have 4 seasons to pick from. So, I mean, we're going to have some all-stars sitting on the bench. Right now, production-wise, we're hopeful. Look, we are sitting like everybody else in the world praying this vaccine works, praying this vaccine changes everything about how we're living. If that is the case, we'll get back on schedule. The Bachelorette is coming up next. Then Paradise. The good news, Paradise isn't until the summer anyway. So we have some time, hopefully mid-spring, late spring, that we realize, okay, this is working. We can all go back to making silly decisions on a beach in Mexico.
I can't wait. I was thinking about, this is the 25th season of The Bachelor coming up. What do you remember about getting hired for this job or your audition or season 1? Take me back.
Well, getting hired, I just remember how it was the unknown. Reality TV didn't really exist. Survivor was just about to start. I remember running into Jeff Probst and asking him, what is this? I knew how to host like you do, doing local TV, but I didn't know what this was. And so just inventing everything is what I remember, how crazy it was, not knowing this show was going to make it. You don't know it's going to go 20 years. Not knowing what a rose ceremony was. We invented that. What we all know is commonplace now and what we make fun of, we had to create back then. And that was the fun of it. Throwing it against the wall to see if it stuck. That was great.
When did you know the words most dramatic would go down in history as being.
would haunt me forever. Really, it was 2 or 3 seasons in when Mike Fleiss, the creator of the show, was like, dude, we are keeping these lines. Because I would go back to him and say, dude, we want to do this over and over. He's like, that's the genius of it. And he's right. That is the genius of it. Now it's the pair of slippers that you can't take off.
Well, because it's 25 years, I have some awards to hang out. They're called the Rosies. Okay, here we go. Who do we hand the Rosie to for the most shocking moment?
I would say Mesnick, the original, Melissa switch. That was the most dramatic.
But that worked out in the end.
Yeah, it turned out great. So, by the way, same way with Ari. Ari is in love with Lauren, babies. It's all great.
That was one, though. I always love the After the Final Rose, the live version. You're so tremendous in that because what a moment that you had to guide and we're watching it unfold. It was the most raw, real TV that I've seen.
Well, and again, back then, we had no idea how it was going to play out. Social media wasn't around, so it really was unfolding in front of us and embracing that and shooting it the way we did. Again, those are the moments I look back, and you hate to call something like that fun, but in our business, when you have this unknown and you're really creating and diving into it, that is fun.
It's a sporting event, right? I mean, you're in it. It's a play-by. That was a good one. All right, this one's hard, but I think we can find it. Let's hand out the Rosie for your favorite Bachelor.
Oh man, there's no way. It's like picking my favorite child.
There's gotta be one. I'm going Bob Guinea. Guinea changed the game of being that affable, fun-loving. He also rooted for every guy in the house, and I loved that about him.
Well, there's, if I go back, it is the Alex Michelle of it all, the first guy that walked through that wall not knowing what he was getting himself into. And honestly, we weren't great at what we were doing yet. We were trying to figure it all out. And then once you got to Bob Guinea and Andrew Firestone, we're like, okay, we have a formula here. We got this. But, it took those first few seasons, those first few guys, Aaron Berge, another one, he was number 2. We had to figure it out.
Not least favorite Bachelor, but is there one that this season just didn't really resonate with you?
Lorenzo Borghese didn't go well. Charlie O'Connell, another one that just didn't go over great with our audience.
Biggest Bachelor villain? I mean, there's been but his biggest like the actual Bachelor, Angry Jake, was a really fun one for me.
Yeah, I mean, if you talk about someone who was so beloved and then probably fell, I mean, Juan Pablo would be tough to take that crown from. He's probably the end all be all.
Clare. Okay, Matt James. We are so excited. Why is he the perfect Bachelor?
I mean, obviously you fell in love with him. Even though he hasn't been on one of our shows, you feel like you know him from so much social media. But there is so much more to this man. I can't wait for people to get to know on such an intimate level the things, the issues in his life that make him the way he is. And he is a dear, sweet man. But realizing that he had truly never been in love before. And this show does this to you. It strips you down emotionally. Going on this journey with Matt is unlike really any we've ever had before.
Really, just for that reason that he has never said "I love you" before?
Well, it's one of those things where you feel like you have, it's like, well, I've been in love, I've loved a girl. Then you get into a situation like this that makes you really face some of your demons, and you realize, wow, no, I've never been in love with what it really means to this deep of a level.
Are all his friends going to come back?
You will see some familiar faces on the show for sure. And by the way, I'll tell you this, you'll see a familiar face show up. And I mean that in a female sense.
Can it be?
We'll see. Someone comes knocking on the door.
What about diversity this season coming up with Matt? How important is that to your franchise?
It's important. I don't know if it's important to the franchise. It's important to us as producers, as people. Behind the camera, which you will never see, we have a diverse group of people that work on this show.
I've seen it when I come to set. Oh yeah.
And they want to see it reflected on the show. And now that it is being reflected on camera as well as off camera, it's important to us. And that's a good thing. And hopefully, if you have seen the last couple of years, you have seen a change. You've seen a dramatic change, but you're seeing it in the right way. And that is so important to me, is that it is not gratuitous. It's never token. It is done in the right way. These are good people that just needed a chance to find love. And I'm glad they're getting a chance to watch themselves fall in love.
Does Matt feel any extra pressure about that?
Sure. Of course he does. He wouldn't be human if he didn't. And we talk about that. We talk about it on night one, that he does feel a lot of pressure. Rachel Lindsay went through this. Tayshia went through this because you feel like you're having to uphold and service a lot of people, your community, your family, yourself. And so you're answering to a lot of people sitting on your shoulder in every situation. And that's a lot. And we talk about that and deal with it.